climb in, turn the key, and the display flashes a number instead of your hours. Your stomach drops. And right there, most operators make the same expensive mistake. They assume that number means the machine is broken. It doesn't. On a Bobcat S175, that code isn't a death sentence. It's the machine finishing a sentence you started. It's telling you exactly what it noticed, in its own shorthand. And a lot of the time the fix is cheap. So before you call the dealer and burn a service call fee, let's decode what your S175 is actually saying. We'll rank the common codes from the cheapest possible fix to the worst case, and what to check first. First, where the code lives. It shows on the hormeter/code A display, the same window that tracks your hours. If more than one code is active, they don't stack. They scroll one after another, so watch a full cycle. Write everyone down. A single symptom can trip several codes, and the pattern tells you more than any one number. That display can also show two views, base and SHDDN, short for shutdown. That second one matters. Hang on to it. Here's the first reframe. Some codes aren't faults at all. They're the machine nagging you about something you already know. Cheapest fix on the whole list? Code 99. That's fuel level low. The machine's just telling you you're running dry. No mechanic, no parts. Add fuel. People have towed in a healthy loader over a code that meant I'm thirsty. Same family, code 44.2 or 44.3, horn error, on or off. A horn fault. Cheap and nowhere near the drivetrain. Code 45.2 or 45.3 is a right blinker error. Again, a light, not your hydraulics, not your engine. These are the codes worth loving. They look scary on the screen and cost you almost nothing to clear. But here's where people waste real money. They treat the cheat codes and the serious ones with the same panic. So the next thing to check costs nothing but 10 minutes, your grounds. This is the one everybody skips. The manual is blunt about it. Corroded or loose grounds can throw codes that look like a dying part. Picture the last time a phone charger only worked at one exact angle. A loose ground does that to a machine. If you see weird unrelated symptoms firing at once, the manual says check your grounds before chasing any single code. A wire brush on a corroded ground strap has fixed more S175 faults than any part ever pulled off a shelf. And here's the flip. That same loose connection is why one bad ground can light up half a dozen codes. Now the temperature codes. Code 821 is engine coolant temperature out of range. High. Code 822 is out of range low. Read that carefully. Out of range. That's often the sensor's opinion, not the engine's temperature. That difference saves you money. If the code reads impossibly low on a warm-running engine, the coolant didn't drop. The sensor or wire is lying. Think of hearing a name at a party and losing it 2 seconds later. The signal's there. It just didn't land. So a temp out-of-range code sends you to the sensor and its connector first, long before you touch the engine. That's the whole game with these codes. Separate what the machine measured from what the machine actually is. If that just changed how you read a code on the dash, that's exactly what this channel is for. Stick around, because now it gets real. Code 815 is engine coolant temperature shutdown level. That word, shutdown, changes everything. Remember SHTDN on the display? This is the code that puts it there. The machine is protecting itself from cooking. This isn't check a sensor, this is stop now. Heat is the one thing that turns a cheap fix into a new engine. Before it ever hit shutdown, it likely warned you. That's why you write codes down. The early ones are the mercy. Check the obvious first: coolant level, a plugged radiator, packed debris, a slipping belt. Cheat causes, catastrophic if ignored. One overheated afternoon you push through can cost more than every other code on this list combined. Respect 815. Cold start troubles. Code 21.2 and 21.3 are glow plug errors, on and off, your hard start in the cold circuit. Code 22 and 22.3 are starter errors, on and off. If it won't crank, this code is pointing at Y. Neither means the engine's damaged. They point at circuits, a relay, a connection, a solenoid, not bent metal inside. Now we climb into the control codes, the ones that scare people most and honestly get misread the most. Code 23.2 and 23 are rear base solenoid errors. Code 26.2 is a front base solenoid error. Code 26.2 is a front base solenoid error. These run attachment flow. Code 25.2 and 25.3 are rear auxiliary relief solenoid errors. Code 24.3 is a rear rod solenoid error. Off. A solenoid is just an electric valve. When it codes, the question is always the same. Is it the valve or the wire? Then comes the 32 family, the biggest block of codes on the machine and the most important to read slowly. These cover your lift and tilt controls, the joysticks, the actuators that move them, and every wire in between. And Bobcat separated them on purpose. Read the difference, and you'll know whether it's a part or a wire. Code 3231 is a tilt actuator fault. Code 3236 is a lift actuator fault. That's the actual device saying it failed. But code 3232 is a tilt actuator wiring fault, and 3237 is a lift actuator wiring fault. Same system, different bill. See it? One points at the part, the other points at the wire feeding it. The words tell you where to look. Code 3233 is tilt handle wiring. 3238 is lift handle wiring. Now it's pointing back up at the joystick itself. Here's the cheap one hiding in this family. Codes 3234, 3235, 3239, and 3240 all mean not in neutral. That's not a broken part. That's a control that wasn't centered when the machine looked. Sometimes you just cycle it clear. Then the shorts, codes 3249 and 3250, lift and tilt actuator short to ground. Codes 3251 and 3252, short to battery. Codes 3253 through 3256 say the same about the handles. Short to ground, short to battery, lift and tilt. Ground versus battery isn't jargon. It tells the tech which way the wire failed, so they hunt half the harness, not all. Codes 3261 through 3264 cover the handle lock and pedal lock, short to ground, short to battery. Safety interlock wiring. But the one code in this family that stops everything is 3241, no communication. That's not one part failing, that's two computers that stop talking mid-sentence, like a call dropping at the important word. No communication points at power, grounds, or the main link between controllers. Check those before you ever condemn a controller. Code 3259 is lift actuator wrong direction. 3260 is tilt wrong direction. The machine moved opposite the command. Take it seriously. Code 5043, 5046, cover rear drive, forward and reverse errors, each on and off. That's your travel circuit talking. Code 5042 is rear PWM, not calibrate, a drive control that needs its calibration set, not a part that's blown up. Codes 372, 373, 5047, and 5048 are two-speed errors. That's your high-range travel, not the pump, not the engine. Now the worst case, the family that actually sends you to the dealer, and the one you should never guess at. When the real suspect is the hydraulic pump itself, you don't read a number, you put a tester on the system. That means flowing the pump against a restrictor and reading pressures. The manual walks it step by step with hard limits. It's exact work. Warm the fluid to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 Celsius. First, because cold fluid gives a false reading. On the high flow test, flow holds until about 30,100 psi, then drops fast, hitting zero around 30,250 to 30,350 psi. And the manual screams a ceiling. Don't exceed 3,300 psi on that test. Blow past it and you damage what you're testing. This is where the manual stops being friendly. Adjustments must be done by authorized Bobcat service personnel. The wrong move can kill. High-pressure hydraulics don't warn you twice. A pinhole leak at that pressure can inject fluid through skin. This is the dealer line. So the honest answer on pump-level faults, check the cheap stuff, then hand it to someone with the tester and training. So here's your whole triage, cheapest to worst. Start with the free stuff. Fuel, a horn, a blinker, a loose ground. Then read the wording. Out of range and wiring point at sensors and wires, fault and short point at the actual part. Respect the two words, the mean stop, shut down, and no communication. Everything else you can usually narrow down in your own yard. 9 times out of 10, the code that ruined your morning is cheaper than the tow you almost called. One line to remember. The code tells you where to look, never what to replace. You still have to go look. That's the recap. Read the exact wording, check grounds and cheap causes first, and only the pump test needs the dealer. The exact pressures, torques, and full code table are in the service manual linked below. Don't guess where a number matters. Like this if it saved you a service call, and subscribe for daily diagnostics. Next up, the S175 hydraulic leak down test, decoded.